This is the introductory tutorial for a series of videos on the statistical software R. It's a very brief introduction to R, but it's sufficient for Stats 253. So you might wonder why I chose R for this particular class. I did it because R is very good software, also because it is free, which is very, if you look at the cost of these commercial software programs, you'll see they're in the thousands of dollars for a user license. This one is free. So here you have a statistical software package that's very good. It's always being updated by statisticians, so it's ahead of the curve as far as the commercial software packages go, and I can distribute it right through Blackboard. Another reason is that this is a distance class, and people who are taking this class can be located all over the world, and I mean that literally. We have people deployed to very remote areas where they might not have access to the university's computers or university software. So by using R, everyone gets a good chance at submitting the homework for this class. Also, it could look very good on a resume or graduate school application that you're familiar with R. I want to mention about the written tutorial that's on Blackboard. There is a table of contents, but you'll notice there are no page numbers. The reason for that is that all of these subheadings here are hyperlinks. So if you're working on a homework problem where you need to make a histogram of something and you want to just review how to do that, all you have to do is go to histogram here and click on it, and it will take you to that section of the tutorial. So to get started with R, what you do is download the R software off of Blackboard into your computer, or you can go and do a Google search on R and find another version to download if you'd rather do that. Linux users will have to. I didn't put anything up there for Linux. So once you download it onto your computer, you click on it and it installs. The defaults are fine. R is not installing any special toolbars on your browser or any other software, so it should work out just to use the defaults. The next thing you're going to notice is that R is accessed through what is called command lines. If you've never used command lines before, just think of it as texting to the computer. Most of the software that we get has GUIs, graphical user interfaces. Well, R has one, but it's very minimal. But with most of these GUIs, you just point and click, and sometimes you use shortcuts, but that's how you access the computer, the software. In this one, you're going to be typing. Why do we type in? Because these command lines are actually what in computers is called more powerful. You can combine a whole bunch of commands into one by using command lines. Also, if you want to do several different things, you don't have to walk through all these different menu options and find one after the other. You can just type them in all at once and be done with it. So in that case, it's faster. Also, advanced users program R. There are people called R programmers. You are not required to program R for this course, but maybe sometime in the future some of you might want to do that. Now I'm going to start R and show you how to use the command line and how to plot things and how to print things off for homework. Okay, so you've installed R, and then to start it, you go find the big blue R. Sometimes it's a red R on the desktop, and you click on it, and this is what will open up. You'll see up at the top it says, just a second here, it says R GUI, and that refers to just these commands up here, which can be useful, and I'll show you how to use a few of them in a minute. The rest of it is this R console, which you can see that kind of moves around. This is the part you're going to be typing on. Okay, so I'm going to try to, let me readjust a little bit to show you how to do the typing. Okay, so here we are, and now you can see this little prompt down at the bottom, that little greater than or less than sign. That's supplied by R. You don't have to add it, but it's required for where the commands are going to go. So at the blinking cursor, I'm not going to type something, I'll just type in a command to show you a few features here. So I'm going to attach some data, and I think I'm done with my command, so I hit enter, and guess what? I get an error. This is not unusual, right? And I'd like to say something about submitting for homework. Do not go back and try to type in a whole bunch of commands with no errors. You are not being graded on the fact that you can type without errors. I make errors all the time. The only thing is to know how to fix them or how to get out of them. So don't worry about that. Just when you print it off, if there's some errors in there and you have to fix up some command lines, just don't even worry about it. Okay, so now I want to fix that command. I could retype it and I could make yet one more error, or a different one this time, but I can go back and recycle it by using the up arrow. Hitting the up arrow on the keyboard and the command comes back in front of me. Now I have to use this the arrow, the sideways arrow, to move around on the command. You can move the cursor around on the screen, but it doesn't do you much good. You have to move over with those arrows, or you can use backspace. That works too, and it deletes things. So at this point I know what's wrong. I put an A there where there shouldn't be an A, so I'm hitting backspace and it's gone. Now I hit enter and everything's fine. When you use that up arrow key, you can bring back in many previous. You can keep going and getting commands you typed a long time ago and bring them down. This is particularly helpful if you're trying to do a series of calculations and you just want to, once you have it right and you just want to change a parameter, go bring that command back into the active line, move over and change one feature in it and hit it again. So it saves you typing. Okay. Now I'm going to go and okay, I'm going to get rid of that whole line altogether. And now I want to make a plot to show you how that works. So I'm going to plot. I happen to know what's in this data. What I've done there is attach a data set, and I will discuss that in a future video, so you don't have to worry about what these commands mean now. I'm just trying to show you about the up arrow, the down arrow, and how to print things off in R. Okay, what MT Cars is a bunch of car data from Motor Trends magazine. So kind of have to know about it. So that data set, it's just a very handy one to use, and I used it in several examples in the tutorial. So I attached that data set, and now I know what's in there. I happen to know what's in there from the past. So I'm going to plot off something. I'll print off miles per gallon versus weight. Okay, and now when I hit enter, another screen will open up, another window opens up, and that is your plot window. Okay, so right now what's active is the plot window. It's active, and you'll notice the GUI has changed a little bit. So say you've made a plot and you like it and you want to submit it for homework. Here's what you can do. Go over to this second button and print it. Then just email it or fax it to me or send it to me, however you're sending your homework. That would just print it off. Another way is to go to the file, and you'll see, where is it, Save As. Save As is going to open up with the different formats for saving this file. Don't do anything with that bitmap, TIFF, or JPEG. Forget about those. Either use PDF or PNG. That's Portable Network Graphics. That's a very good format. Either one of those. Linux users might use something else, but Linux users know what they're doing, so I don't have to say anything more to them. Most of the time, though, you're just going to print it off. You don't necessarily have to save it, but you can save it. Okay, right now the print window is active. I want to move back over to the console window and type something else. It looks like the cursor is blinking in the console window, but it's not. You can go back over to the console window by hitting this button up here, return focus to console, or you can go down here and click. So I'll just type that, and now I want to print off the commands that I did and submit that for homework. File, you can do save to file, and you'll just save it as a text file, right, in wherever you want to save it. So I'm going to cancel out of that. I don't want to do that, but you can save it, or you can go here and just print it off and send it in. Again, you're not being graded on how well you type in our commands, just that you do the work and you can recognize what you're doing. Right now, say you want to quit R. Go up here to this button in the corner and hit the red X, or you can type Q, and then but you got to put parentheses after it. Either way that you quit, it's going to ask you if you want to save the workspace. Save workspace image. You can do that, and the next time you start R, it will pull it back in. Okay, you can do that. Generally, you shouldn't have to for this homework. For this class, it should be whatever you sit down, you should be able to do in one session and be done with it. So I'm going to go ahead and say no. And now we're done with R. So what happens when things don't work right? And that happens. In the tutorial, on the first page there, I mentioned several online R tutorials. You can access those. You can do a Google search on R and try to figure out what's wrong. There are also books you can buy. The best thing though, on the cheapest thing, is just to call me. Okay, if you want to, the best way to get hold of me is through email, and I know it says calculus in here, but this is the calculus@yahoo.com. That's where you get homework. This is written on the announcements. It's written on the top of every homework page. It's in the syllabus. This is the best way to contact me. Please put stats in the subject line. Okay, that kind of helps me out. Right. Another way to contact me is by phone. Okay, for this class, I can either write you back emails explaining the problem. Part of the reason that it's better to send an email is that you can explain the problem to me, and that works better than if you do it on the phone. Okay, so I can send you an email back explaining the problem. I can call you back. I can meet you on eLive, and also I can send you a pincast, which is a little video that I can make to try to help with the problem.